Welcome back to some top-level Age of Empires 4. Both the players in this match at the top 25 on the leaderboards, and you should definitely recognize the one we're showing off right now. Playing as the Delhi Sultanate, one of the most interesting and a little confusing, but we'll break it down, of the civilizations. We have BeastyQT. No, not just dominating the StarCraft 2 ladder and educating people with his knowledge, now bringing scholarly knowledge to Age of Empires 4, has rocketed up the ladder with both a combination of solid macro and strategies that a lot of players aren't really prepared for. And one of them is in this. I'm not going to spoil it, but time is money, friend, is as much as I'll say. On the other side, also near the top here is Wham, one of my favorite names, and also playing as Rus. The Rus, just to break them down quickly, generate gold via their hunting cabin. You know what? We'll just take a quick look at the specifics here, because I know the game is still new, and there's still a lot of details that a lot of people don't know. So, wooden fortresses give you the ability to get a little bit more gold. That is marginal compared to things like hunting cabins generating gold based on trees. And the gold is maintained even if you do cut down the trees, important to note. As well as gaining a bounty for killing animals on the map. I know, right? But that is going to become a relevant part of this game. So those are the ones to keep a lookout for. Whereas on the other side, the Delhi Sultanate. The Delhi Sultanate gets extra for berries, but they cannot gather from boar. And then all technology is free, but research is at an intensely slower rate. And the scholars accelerate research speed. So that is also a super interesting and on the surface confusing part of the Delhi Sultanate. But right now we see Beastie opting for the Sanctity research, which allows scholars to capture sacred sites before the Castle Age. And sacred sites generate more gold. This isn't just to try to trigger the sacred site win condition, where controlling all the sites on a map between 1 and 4, usually 3, will trigger that win condition. This means that the Delhi Sultanate can effectively replace somewhere between 5 and 15, give or take, villagers mining gold. So the sacred sites are not just a win condition, but also potentially a main source of income. This is combined with the fact that Delhi's infantry is able to make fortifications, as in walls and outposts, out on the map on their own. They do not require villagers necessarily to build those things. So we'll see if that factors in. Right now, Beastie with some kill steals here. I thought we weren't playing Halo, but apparently right now the Wolf of No Street, BeastyQT, able to knock down some of those deer. So it does matter who gets the kill. The Rus trying to gain that bounty. Wow, Wham already at 395, which is quite high. Sometimes you won't even see players get to 500, that tier 3 Rus bonus. But Wham most of the way there. If Beastie wasn't denying him actively, I think it's very likely he'd get there within like 5 minutes. He's got 400 gold at the moment without ever touching any of those juicy minerals, and is opting for the Golden Gate. I like to watch the games with player vision most of the time, especially on a map like this because of how many stealth forests. Just FYI, it might be a little disorienting. The spectating could use a little work, but scouts are able to see with reduced vision in these stealth forests, indicated by the orangish grass here. Whereas other units have almost no vision at all. Of course, Wham is essentially only making scouts. It looks like he's going to go professional with his scouts right now. Yes, professional scouts for Grand Theft Venison, as I am definitely stealing the term, but is the most accurate thing. Stealing deer carcasses, which are surprisingly lucrative when it comes to the food income from your opponent, or just taking them from the ground and bringing them back home, as they're worth 350 food apiece, and they do not cost any wood to produce. But speaking of wood, Beastie, his spearmen putting together fortifications around the eastern site of sacredness, and a scholar comes to claim it. Once that sacred site is captured, he'll get gold, and then every 20 seconds gets another tick of gold. I believe it ends up being about 150 a minute, on top of the initial 67 gold you get. Either way, sacred sites make up the majority of your gold income, if possible, as the Delhi Sultanate. And this makes them entirely unique, as no other civilization is even able to capture sacred sites before the Castle Age. Yeah, he spotted the scouts. Of course, when you're up against the Delhi Sultanate, you know what you're dealing with. I'm actually going to watch for the takes here. The scouts harassing the gold. Don't just sit there and stare at it. There's no way this is good coming. There you go. 66 every 20 seconds. Wow, that's a lot of gold. So even though the villagers that are currently mining the gold that he chose to take, it's a little further... Oh, wow. Wait, is this the closest gold? I guess he has one, but it's out towards the front, exposed. Wham deciding to do a little bit of villager harass. Poking in and shivving a couple of those defenseless villagers. But Beastie right now going to be feeling pretty comfortable with the amount of gold he's getting from the sacred site. On the other side, though, well, one, Beastie now getting to age 2. So, actually, did he just capture that? Am I blind? He just captured that sacred site in the Dark Age. For some reason, I thought the upgrade said you could capture in the Feudal Age. No, it just says you can capture sacred sites. That's it. So that means that sacred sites can technically be captured in the Dark Age, or in the Enlightened Age, I guess, for the Delhi Sultanate. The archers are going to try to make their way in. How much has Wham seen? Like, does he realize if he looks, he can... Huh. Yeah, so you're going to need at least the scouts with their torches. Ranged units like archers and crossbows do not have those torches for burning down buildings. So, this is kind of a predicament I've been left in a few times as well. It's like, I know he's getting gold from the... Can I do anything about it, though? Because he just kind of built a little outpost, literally and figuratively, with the palisades here. Beastie going for the center site. Remember, this map is not just it's not just the forest. It's the lack of vision. It is easy enough to move around, but you can't always see what your opponent is doing. The outposts and scouts give you vision, but otherwise it's very dark in those forests. And there could be a couple dozen archers or nothing just a few steps away. Beastie's completed the Dome of the Faith landmark, which can produce scholars at half the cost. We won't comment on people who get a degree from Dome of the Faith. All right, don't judge. Now, still the archers. They are revealed once they fire, but it's going to take a while before they take out an outpost. Beastie's revealed most of the map, though doesn't currently have vision of it. A whole bunch of horsemen have been produced. Couple villagers coming up as well. The scholars only have 90 HP. Compare that to 70 of an archer, 155 of a horseman, 50 of a villager. So not a particularly huge number here, but it looks like our first real engagement. The horsemen just going into the front line. I'm not sure how much Beastie saw the scouts behind, but now he does have vision. Trying to chase down the archers. The archers targeting the villagers building the outpost nearby. The scholar just standing by, hoping nobody notices what he's doing. Meanwhile, the villager still going to work, trying to get that outpost done. The scholar now being targeted by the archers. It's going to be close. The site is contested. The scholar pin cushioned. Not exactly what Beastie was looking for in the center here. These are mostly scouts, but a couple knights. Wait, was that a knight? An early knight coming in for the Rus. They have access to them. And that means the army supply and strength will be enough to drive Beastie back to his side of the map. He still has access to this sacred site. Wham currently not mining any gold. He's relying entirely on the hunting cabin. Very interesting. Nobody mining gold at all. Everybody relying on their civilization mechanics. That's about to change for Wham, but Beastie, without mining any additional gold, with the 200 gold a minute from the sacred site, is now going to be able to go up to castle. So these are the type of mechanics I'm interested to see how they play out as time goes on. Because it's kind of indirect income. It's not your, oh, I go over there and I mine the minerals kind of thing. But instead, achieving objectives which give you these resources. So both these civilizations have that, but so far, Beastie with the Delhi Sultanate has definitely had significantly more success. He's at 33 villagers to 36. He hasn't, as he's obviously lost several more. But the lack of a need for early gold has definitely colored this game. And we'll see where it goes from here. What is the choice? Remember, he's going to research everything. You press all the buttons. You just got to be careful which order you press them in, because it still takes time to finish the upgrades, if not the gold. And oh yeah, that is something to point out as well. It's not just that Beastie is getting gold without the resources, but once he produces the scholars, he doesn't need gold for upgrades either. So the Delhi running off of knowledge here. Knights pushing in. Wham going to be a little uncomfortable with how quick Beastie got to castle, but he does have knights in the base, and the wood line is something being constantly pressured. Working through the berries, once he gets a mill, they become, I guess they don't become orchards, that's opposites, but you do have access to twice the amount of food from berries, so that'll keep it going for quite a while, kind of like the deer carcasses of the Roos. If Wham... Hello, sir! Put the deer over here. Yep, right over there. All right. Yes, thank you. Not particularly halal, but I don't think the Roos are too caring about that. Meanwhile, the battle begins. I believe there are some knights and lancers, which are knights, but by a different name. They have identical statistics to Castle Age Knights. Fun fact. More upgrades completing for Beastie. That's kind of the thing, is the Delhi Sultanate, they gain momentum as time goes on. Oh, that's an unlucky villager. And if you don't slow down the economy, I would compare it a little to Sky Toss in StarCraft 2. If you don't slow them down, they just start gaining so much momentum and cost efficiency that it becomes incredibly difficult to stop a fully operational Delhi Sultanate. You have all the upgrades. All the upgrades themselves, that's thousands of gold. Between the unit upgrades, the economic upgrades, you save so much over time. He's funding all of this with a single sacred site right now because, of course, he only needs to build units with that. The scholars getting involved as well. Beastie is starting to put together an army. I've been most interested in Beastie here because I have seen this roost strategy before. The professional scouts, the deer gathering. But I've just personally been discovering the power of sacred sites and how much gold you can get for 0 villager investment. And those scholars aren't particularly expensive. 75 gold for a scholar from the Dome of the Faith is not a huge investment. Of course, you don't want to be throwing it away, but if you're able to capture the sacred site, even for a split second, you get more gold than it costs to produce the scholar because it takes 30 seconds to contest it. So that means you'll get the 67 gold just from capturing it, and then you'll have the 20-second tick of 67 gold. So, if you capture the sacred site, even if you immediately lose the scholar afterwards, it's paid for itself. So that is an interesting aspect here. Even able to, of course, just grab the relics as well. Why not? Just lying around. You gotta have the special hands and special training, but once you have that, you can garrison them and get additional gold income. The hunting cabins, probably unlikely. to keep up here overall. Lancers filing through. There is an Abbey of the Trinity. The warrior monk. Essentially a super monastery for the Rus is what Wham is upgrading. It has access to cheaper monk upgrades, and you can pump out those warrior monks immediately. Finally, though, the sacred site, the source of most of Beastie's income, is being contested. Scouts burning their way through with their torches. Still gonna take a bit. And this will give Beastie some time to respond. Oh, he's also made the transition into farms. The palisades. Eventually getting chunked through. Now set aflame. There's also a relic over here to grab as well. I gotta say, the Sultanate, really, it feels like they have a lot of intuitive stuff. Once you kind of wrap your head around the mechanics, and it is, I will admit, playing click every button with the upgrades is very, very weird to start out. Once you kind of get into that habit, like, most of your economy and your strategies are based around scholars, and you gotta respect a civilization who respects scholars so much. But at the same time, the scholars give you the ability to research, and they give you the, you can also get relics alongside those sacred sites, and of course they heal. What can't they do? Okay? So, I am very interested, and that's why I wanted to show you guys this game. Because seeing how Delhi plays against a more conventional civ, which I'd put Rus as a conventional civ. You got your basic units, you've got a few interesting mechanics, but it mostly comes down to building your standard armies of cavalry, infantry. Well, also Springalds. Let's not forget about Springalds. And let's not forget about the fact there are battles happening across the map. How about that right now? Come on, let's go to... Jimmy, give me cinematic mode. Thank you. As the sacred sites breaking through are the scouts. Meanwhile, as well, attacks inside of Beastie's base. Another sacred site was claimed in the top left corner, though I'm not sure how quickly that will be contested. Meanwhile, center of the map. Lancers and knights fighting it out. Archers and a couple crossbows in the back. Wham should be able to take this one. Sacred site being contested should be reclaimed, or at least neutralized. Meanwhile, a couple warrior monks looking for their ability to pick up some relics before the scholars get their grubby hands on them. I guess puns intended. Meanwhile, the knights making it through into the gold. Or not, and they just run on through. I'm not sure if Wham knows where the other berries are, but just understanding where the berries are makes it a lot easier. You know where Delhi and to an extent Abbasid want to get their food from. Kind of like how you know the Rus are going to want to go for the deer. So neutralizing those resources is a top priority. What is the worker count? 37 to 49. Wham is holding on to a lot right now. Beastie doesn't really have a coherent army that he's put together. We'll go ahead, take a look at the select army. He has 11 lancers, a scout, and a scholar. So, I'm not... that is not an overwhelming army supply. Compared to, like, I've been very interested in Beastie's build, but Wham right now is sitting on 7 archers, 6 scouts, 10 knights, 2 warrior monks, and 11 crossbows. And that is obviously far and away the better army here. Will we see? Wait, I take it back. Ultralisk. The war elephants have arrived. War elephants have almost as much HP as a barracks and do significantly more damage. I'm not exactly sure what the ideal counter is, as you might think pikes. I think crossbows are pretty good. Springalds and siege weaponry in general. And they cost as much as a cannon, so they're not cheap creatures. Will Beastie be able to just carry through with a handful of war elephants? I honestly... Well, we'll have to see what Wham decides to make. He's now making 3 crossbows at a time. He's adding a springled. The upgrades right now, he's upgrading +2 melee and... No, he's upgrading +1 melee and ranged. So overall, Wham... Ooh. He's obviously looking for opportunities to do damage, because those war elephants have a ridiculous amount of armor. As you might expect, 6 melee armor and 4 ranged armor. So, I'm assuming Beastie has essentially all of the blacksmith upgrades. He's working on them now, as they'll eventually get done. Remember, for free. He's on only 45 villagers, but remember how much the sacred sites can supplement that. No, doesn't quite. The scholar had not wandered into the sacred site zone. He's almost there. As for income right now, it's a little split. Wham with significantly more wood. But remember, he does need to use those villagers for everything. He's at 58. Wait a second. Jimmy, are we going to have to start the clock on the sacred site? No, right now, Beastie has 2 out of 3. We can go to the sacred tracker, which does not tell us how much time is left, but does tell us at least how many sacred... Oh no, watch out! Oh, I should have worn my sweatpants today. Maybe then I would be able to escape. I'm always an advocate of sweatpants. Maybe the scholars haven't invented them yet. Very disappointing. Meanwhile, though, here comes Wham. A whole lot of crossbows and some springalds in the back. Just the one springled, but still. Probably the best tool against the war elephants. I'm super interested to see how this goes. I have no idea if 3 war elephants are enough to stop this much army supply. Right now, Beastie's army, his military supply is 26 against 53. But those war elephants... Now there's 4 springalds on the field. He's building stone walls with his villagers here. The springalds are kind of wandering by. Yo, watch out! Oof. Oh, with the textile... Now that's super interesting. The textiles upgrade, which is plus 25 HP for the villagers, means that they survive a massive springled bolt. Which, good for them, I guess. Not 2, though. Definitely not 2. It's like some more cleaned up. Beastie still playing whack-a-mole. Going for the 3rd sacred site. Does Wham know about the keep? I don't believe so, but he's about to learn. Not that it necessarily matters. Well, that's quite an army out of Wham. Let's see how dedicated Wham is to ending the game now. Because remember, as Delhi goes on, it gets harder and harder. The scholars on the back line. The elephants trying to stay intact. The scholars definitely need to be targeted. Meanwhile... So yeah, none of the elephants really even took damage. Oh my. So after all this, Beastie's gone up in military supply. And Wham is now at 28, which is less. Yeah, elephants are kind of pretty good. Wow. Okay. Huh. And he just taps it out. Wow, that is a super interesting thing. Jimmy. No, not the darkness. Hide the darkness from us. I honestly don't know what I expected. I am really surprised, actually, to see how that ended. But yeah, apparently war elephants are just kind of that amazing. Can we quickly get the stats breakdown here? Come on. Oh my god. Wow. Okay, well. Hopefully you guys learned something here today. Elephants, not to be trifled with. And sacred sites, incredibly valuable. I hope you enjoyed this breakdown. Congrats to Beastie, and I look forward to more of his games. And thank you for watching. Like, subscribe, ring the bell, ding ding the town center. Thank you for watching. Good luck, have fun. I'll see you next time. Stay chill.